yeah. Welcome to Big Boof Bets. It's the Get That Money podcast. I am Nate Stevenson, and as always, I am joined by Mr. Big Boofy Skirman and the fabulous Mr. Tony T-Bone Guarino. How's everybody doing after a Turkey Day weekend?
I'm doing wonderful, man. Got to eat some good food, hang out, watch some ball, make a couple bucks. Life is good. And you know what, man? The NFL might be able to move the Steelers and Ravens game over and over again, but fortunately, they have no say on when the Get That Money podcast goes up. And I'm happy to be right on time this week.
That's what we like to hear, baby. The units must go on.
Amen.
What's up, Tone? How you doing, baby?
I think that was a Broadway musical, The Units Must Go On, or something like that. Yeah. Oh, man, besides that, yeah, Thanksgiving. Well, it's just a wonderful holiday week. I'm a bit peeved with Los Angeles as a city right now. I've made an executive decision that they're not allowed to have multiple football teams anymore. I think that they should be forced to combine down to one good football team that can win a game when they're supposed to win a game.
I second that notion.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like it.
Other than that, boy, I'll be even more smitten if we can actually, see this Ravens Steelers game sometime in 2020. But yeah, other than that, let's get on to week 13.
All right, man, that sounds like a good idea. How about them locks, Boof? How'd they do last week?
We went 7-5-1. Turkey Day was fantastic. We had the Texans -3 and Washington +3, so we were 2-0 then, and then we were 5-5 after that. So losers were the Cardinals -2, Raiders -3, Giants -5.5, Rams -7, and the Chiefs and Bucks to go over 55.5. I got to say, outside of the over there, I was really disappointed in all four of those. I felt great. I thought this was going to be an unreal week for us. So very disappointed.
Totally
in
agree.
That. Our winners were the Panthers +4.5, Jaguars +7, Dolphins -6.5, Saints -5.5, and Seahawks -5, which brings our total for the season to 51, 41-2 at a 55.43% success rate. So going up a little bit from last week. And then, like we keep telling you, follow us on social media at Big Boof Bets. Props had a good week. Thanksgiving was phenomenal. So for those of you that paid attention, we threw a little bonus one out for you on Thursday. Props went 9-2 on Thanksgiving. We were 13-11 the rest of the way. And our total for the season on those, since we've started tracking them, is 46-27 at a 63.01% success rate. So highly recommend you follow us on social media and keep up with the props that we do. And we pretty much get those out to you by at least 2 hours before kickoff. So I'll always be checking out for that.
Oh, yeah. Love the props, baby. We've been definitely crushing those.
All right, well, the units must go on indeed. So let's go trotting along into week 13. We're going to actually start off on a Sunday this week due to the COVID craziness. We got to follow the bouncing COVID ball here and figure out the schedule. But the Dallas and Baltimore game is currently up in the air, tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, which would have been this Thursday. So that's a lot of words. So let's start Sunday with the Cincinnati Bengals at the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are going to lay 11.5 and the over-under at 42.
This is definitely one of those ones where I really, really wish the market did not adjust and we got the Dolphins at a touchdown or even slightly over a touchdown, because I would definitely lay it here with Miami. But it's, a game after seeing Cincy without Burrow, there's already been a very, very quick adjustment on Cincinnati lines, and they are already getting 11.5. That's just too much for me to lay with Miami. So I really wanted to lay the points with Miami. I think they will win by more than 12 points, at least 12 points. But it's a little scary, especially considering Miami is without their number 2 receiver, and Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback, which, I mean, I don't really think there's much of a difference there. But so, yeah, I'd lean laying the points with Miami and the under because I just don't think Cincy's going to score very much against a good Miami defense.
Yeah, so last week we talked about kind of putting the Bengals in the same tier as the Jets after the Joe Burrow injury. Last week we had the Dolphins -6.5 against the Jets, which they did cover. That's the type of line I would be looking for in this game. We don't have it, so I'm going to pass.
All right, moving on. We'll go to the Cleveland Browns at the Tennessee Titans. Titans laying 5.5, and your over/under at 54.5.
So Cleveland, yeah, I still think they're just an average football team. So they just really haven't beat anybody. I can't get over that fact. Yes, they're 8-3. Yes, they've beaten the bad teams in front of them, but they've beaten bad teams. They're an average team. So, I mean, they still should beat most bad teams. The Titans, I think, are an above-average team. They're a team that seems to be, if the rest of the AFC doesn't watch out here, getting on that roll that they got on to the last half of last season. We're laying 5.5. Derrick Henry, big man, big scary man who's getting rolling like the rest of the Titans team here. I just I can't see any other way than to play this one other than laying the 5.5 with the Titans.
To elaborate a little bit more, I'll be specific on the wins for the Browns this year. Their wins are against the Bengals twice, Washington, Dallas, the Colts, the only win that I will give them any respect for, the Texans, Eagles, and Jaguars. So that's who they've been able to beat. Good for them. They handled their business. So I'm not going to say they're terrible or anything. But I definitely consider Tennessee to be the better football team here. They really looked like they found their mojo against the Colts last week. Now they're coming home. I do expect them to take care of business. We got them at -5.5. I love it. And it's our first lock of the week. In addition to that, I am also on board with the under. Here are some totals for the Browns throughout their schedule this year. Versus the Jags, we hit a total of 52. Then we had 3 in a row that were comfortably under, but sure, we had some questionable weather. Maybe you want to throw them out. We had 2 Bengals games that went well over, but I'm going to throw those out too because the Bengals are crap. We had a 55 against the Colts, just barely over. Cowboys went way over, but it's the Cowboys. We'll throw them out. We have Washington only at 54, Ravens only at 44, Steelers, we only hit 45. So if we get rid of the garbage Bengals and Cowboys games, only one game has gone over. So I really don't see them covering that total in this one either. Then we go to the Titans schedule, and 5 out of their last 6 have also gone under this total. Love the under 54.5. It's another lock for us.
Oh, yeah. Lock it in. Get that money. Twice.
All right, up next we have the Detroit Lions at the Chicago Bears. The Bears laying 3 and the over-under at 44.5.
So like we predicted before the season started, the Bears are who we thought they were.
The Bears are who we thought they were.
They're not a very good football team. They've lost 5 in a row. This week they're playing a Lions team coming off a Thanksgiving Day beatdown that finally got Matt Patricia mercifully fired because he just unfortunately wasn't very good in Detroit, as has been most of the coaches in Detroit for about the past 20 to 30 years. Even the players are just like, yes, thank God he's gone. So something that just seems to happen is we've touched on this before, the coach firing bump. You're getting a Lions team getting 3 points, potentially Galladay back, which is huge for their offense. I do believe DeAndre Swift will also be back, who has been shown to be a very, very important part of their offense. And we're getting 3 points against a Bears team that just sucks offensively. They're in disarray. Matt Nagy's calling people out for having pride and all that crap. I mean, seriously, it's the NFL, dude. Like, come on. You don't need to give a pride speech. They care about winning and money. So, like, they're going to try anyway. So giving a speech about pride is not really going to do anything. You should be worried about your job. So, yeah, give me the Lions +3. I think the Lions get it done here.
Yeah, I see it the same way. We might see. It's funny. We might see Nagy get fired after this one. So I love the Lions +3 for the reasons that you said, and it's another lock for us.
Oh yeah, lock it in. Get that money.
All right, moving on. We'll take a look at the Indianapolis Colts at the Houston Texans. The Colts are laying 3, and the over/under at 51.5.
Yeah, I like the Colts -3 here. The Texans, big hits on offense and defense. Will Fuller and Roby both getting announced this week. They're going to be facing 6-game suspension, so they're done for the year. That's a huge hit to their team. The Texans already not great stopping the run. Now you're losing your number one corner, and Fuller, who is a huge deal in that Texans offense. He basically fills the DeAndre Hopkins role. He stretches the field and is shown to be a very complete wide receiver this year for the Texans. And you don't have him, all the issues that they have on defense. Colts definitely not an elite team, but I still think at the very least, an above average team who can run the ball pretty well, which is one of the Texans' weaknesses. I like the Colts -3. I think that's a good bet.
Yeah, for me, if you put yourself in the Deshaun Watson's shoes right now, last year at this time, we had DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller and everybody else. Now, because of a trade that made no sense to anybody and a PED violation, performance-enhancing drugs, Will Fuller is no longer available for the offense. And for two kind of crummy reasons, he's missing his two best weapons. Got to be tough to get over. Then you switch over to the Colts, who are very much alive in the playoff race, coming off of a loss to Tennessee. They're going to be looking to get back on track. The spread is only 3. I love the Colts. It's another lock for us.
Oh, you lock it in. Get that money.
Okay, up next we have the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings laying 9.5, and your over/under at 51.5.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely leaning towards taking the points with Jacksonville here. They've shown an ability throughout this season to keep games close enough to cover, and just being that they've been expected to be so bad, they've normally got a pretty high number. Right now, they're getting 9.5. If it was 10, I'd feel a lot better. No matter who they've had at quarterback, they seem to score enough points to keep it to stay within range, to have a shot at the end of the game. And even defensively, with some of their injuries, they just seem to do enough. So conversely, you have Minnesota fighting really hard for a playoff spot in the NFC, and I expect them to win the game, but Jacksonville's ability to just keep it within range enough leads me to want to take the points with Jacksonville.
Yeah, I was impressed with how they looked against Cleveland last week. And again, I think they're competent at quarterback, whether it's Glennon or Luton or Minshew. And then it's 9.5 right now. It's my understanding that Dalvin Cook is expected to play. So I think when we get the news that he is going to suit up, I could see this getting bumped up to 10. I think the smart play is here. You wait it out, wait for that +10 line, then hit Jacksonville there. So we're going to conditionally lock this one at Jacksonville +10.
Oh, yeah. Lock it in. Get that money. Conditionally.
Up next, we have the Las Vegas Raiders at the New York Jets. The Raiders laying 7.5, and your over/under at 47.
Well, the Jets are playing, so that means we're definitely not taking the points with them. It's slightly over a touchdown, so there's a mild amount of hesitancy by laying over a touchdown, which is our minimum benchmark for always going against the Jets. But having said that, I do expect the Raiders to have a bounce-back game this week. The Jets are still the Jets. The Raiders are in hardcore competition for a playoff spot in the AFC. So if you made me, I'd lay the points with the Raiders, but I would feel much more comfortable if it was at 7 instead of 7.5.
Yeah, we've talked about this many times throughout the season. When you get a line 3.5 or 7.5, which comes up all the time, especially early in the week, wait it out. I love the Raiders here either way, but I think the smart play is to wait, let it get to -7. So we are going to lock it conditionally at 7. That being said, if you see it go the other direction and it goes to 8, I would hit it before it gets any higher than that. I do like them either way to cover here. But for our purposes, we're going to conditionally lock it at -7.
Oh, yeah, lock it in. Get that money. Conditionally.
All right, the final 1 o'clock game for Sunday is the New Orleans Saints at the Atlanta Falcons. Saints laying 3, and your over-under at 46.
I'm kind of a little torn with this game. Like, New Orleans is definitely the better team, but they've been playing much more conservatively on offense with Taysom Hill quarterback. And then you have Atlanta, who's been looking a little better defensively as they've gotten a little more healthy. And we all know the explosiveness that they have on offense, but is Julio Jones going to play? If you made me pick a side, I'd take the 3 with Atlanta. But to me, all of that definitely points towards not a lot of points being scored, especially when you consider the last time these two teams played, which is not that long ago. There was only 33 points scored when New Orleans won 24-9. So under 46, it looks pretty juicy to me. So that's where I'm going to go.
Yeah, since Taysom Hill has taken over, Alvin Kamara has 1 catch for -2 yards in 2 games. Now, him out of the backfield catching balls has been a big part of their offense for a long time. They're not getting that. The Saints' last 4 games have all gone under the total of 46, including a game against the Falcons with Taysom Hill as the quarterback. Like Nate said, that only went 24-9, a total of 33. I am also on board with the under 46, and it's another lock for us.
Oh, yeah, lock it in. Get that money.
All right, that takes us to the late afternoon games for Sunday, which we will start things off with the Los Angeles Rams at the Arizona Cardinals. The Rams laying 3, and the over-under at 48.5.
I really want to take the points of the Cardinals here, but both of these teams have been such an enigma to us lately, especially the Cardinals this year. I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go with the total. I don't know where to go with the spread. So I don't know. So I'm going to pass.
The Rams screwed me on a 6-leg teaser last week. And then we, as the podcast crew here, we are 3-7 in all Cardinals-related bets this season. So I'm going to be taking a week off from the Cardinals. Both teams are in my doghouse, and I'm passing.
Amen to that. All right, now moving on, we have the New York Giants at the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks laying 10, and the over-under at 48.5.
The Giants were well on their way to a cover against Cincinnati until Daniel Jones went out, which obviously huge deal. Then Colt McCoy came in, and then the Giants thankfully still won, but only by 2 points, which did not cover the 5.5 we had last week. Now you're facing a Seattle team that has shown improvement on defense. We all know how explosive they can be on offense. And they're laying 10 at home. I think this is a no-brainer. I'm laying the 10 with Seattle against the leader of the NFC least, the G-Men.
Yeah, Giants without Daniel Jones are down there in Bengals and Jets territory for me. I think this is a beatdown. Seattle -10. It's another lock for us.
Oh, yeah, lock it in. Get that money.
Okay, well, let's move on to the New England Patriots at the other Los Angeles team, the Los Angeles Chargers. Patriots laying 1, and your over-under at 47.5.
Like we all know, what the Patriots have been, so we're not going to continue to beat that dead horse. But they're just a Jekyll and Hyde team this year. With the limited skill they have on offense, it really depends who they're playing, and if they hit anything offensively on what they're going to do in a given week. I do expect the Chargers to put up some points, but the Chargers also don't have a consistently good defense either. So if you made me pick a side, I would take the Chargers. If you made me pick a total, I'd take over the 47.5, but don't feel comfortable enough to lock any of them.
If I go up and down the roster, if I'm being honest, I think the Chargers are better across the board, and they're at home, and they're getting a point. So that screams take the Chargers. My only problem is I think they are severely handicapped at the head coaching matchup in this one. And all season, the Chargers have found ways to blow leads and blow games and lose them. And I'm just afraid that's going to happen this week. So I'm not taking the Patriots, but that is enough to scare me away from the Chargers, and I'm going to pass.
Yeah, I don't blame you, Boof. Anthony Lynn's just, to me, he's one of the dumbest head coaches in the NFL. Like, I literally just, some of his decisions, we were talking about it pre-show here. I just had to add, like, some of them just don't make sense. I mean, you and me were saying, like, some of his timeouts, some of his clock management, situational game management just doesn't make sense. Yeah. And when you have a guy like that, you just can't trust him, especially with almost a pick'em spread here. So, yeah, definitely passing.
Okay, so the final late afternoon game is the Philadelphia Eagles at the Green Bay Packers. Packers laying 9 and the over-under at 47.
So continuing the trend of the Eagles just continuing to underwhelm, underperform, and just suck, we're going to go Green Bay -9 because Philly sucks. Green Bay is one of the best teams, conversely, in the NFC, and I expect them to win by double digits, which is definitely more than 9. Keep it simple. Lay the 9 with Green Bay.
I view this game almost the exact same way that I view the Seahawks-Giants game. Packers -9. It's another lock for us.
Oh, yeah, lock it in. Get that money. Go Pack, go.
All right, that takes us into Sunday night, which will be the Denver Broncos at the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs laying 13.5, and you're over-under at 50.5.
Chiefs! I can't say Chiefs enough because I literally want to lock every spread possible for the Chiefs. I will lay all points for the Chiefs because the Chiefs are the Chiefs and Denver sucks. They rolled the Broncos last time they played them. I expect nothing different. They're coming off COVID, no matter which quarterback they play, like the entire quarterback room. Vic Fangio is conservative. Vic Fangio sucks. He's another coach that should be fired in a league that I just don't understand why they can't find 32 guys that are really, really good at leading an NFL football team. Give me the Chiefs laying all the points everywhere.
So the Chiefs have won 10 in a row versus Denver, including covering the number of 13.5 in both games last season and this year's beatdown of 43-16. I expect that to happen again. So I love the Chiefs -13.5. It's a lock for us. I also expect them to be taking care of business from start to finish. So the halftime line of -7. I also love, and that will also be a lock for us.
Oh, yeah, lock it in. Get that money. Twice. Chiefs.
All right, well, that takes us on into Monday night, which for now is the Washington football team at the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers tentatively laying 10 with a rough prediction of the over-under to be at 44.
Yeah, most of the time the Steelers are laying double digits. You normally want to take the points with their opposition. And not that I don't expect the Steelers to win, because I do, but that's the case here. The Steelers just tend to play close games, and you add in the extra, a very important factor of them coming off a game against the Ravens on a short week against a Washington team that has a pretty good defensive front. And Roethlisberger, as good as he's been this year, still likes to take a lot of sacks, both historically and this season. So sacks are drive killers, and all those factors lead me to believe that this will be a game that is in the single digits. I do think the Steelers will get it done, but I think the smart bet here is with the Washington football team +10.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors here, and you touched on some of them. Just in general, I mean, Washington's been playing good football lately. Alex Smith has been good. They have a real quarterback. The strength of their defense is up front, and with Ben's tendency to hang onto the ball a little extra sometimes, that could potentially lead to some strip sacks and things of that nature. Beyond that, just the way COVID has played out and everything, and Washington coming off of a Thanksgiving Day game, they're going to be up to almost 2 full weeks off by the time they play this game. And the Steelers will be going on, 4 or 5 days rest or 4 days rest and then playing on the 5th day. So beyond that, like Nate said, you're coming off of playing the Ravens. The first time around, Ronnie Stanley for the Ravens was taken out for the season, and Devin Bush for the Steelers was taken out for the season. That game's always physical. Even if nobody's actually injured, there are going to be some bumps and bruises without a whole lot of time to get 100% for the next game. I think the smart play is Washington plus 10, and that's another lock for us this week.
Oh, yeah, lock it in. Get that money.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the second of the Monday night doubleheader, which is the Buffalo Bills at the San Francisco 49ers. The Bills laying 2.5, and your over-under at 48.
Yeah, Buffalo is just the better team here, and we're laying under a field goal. I don't see a lot of outs here for San Francisco, considering all their injuries, and they're still going to have their backup quarterback at the helm. So you're giving me under a field goal here with Buffalo. I'm going to circle the wagons. Lay to 2.5 with the Bills.
I think you have to give San Francisco some respect from last week, being able to beat the Rams. But I don't think they're going to be able to put that type of performance together 2 weeks in a row. This, in quotations, home game is actually going to be played at the Cardinal Stadium due to some COVID restrictions. And I believe it's Santa Clara County where San Francisco typically plays their home games. So they're not even really getting this one truly at home. Just a tough set of circumstances for them. Like Nate said, it's under a field goal. And let's be honest. If Nate's down to circle the wagons, then I'm down to circle the wagons. Give me the Bills minus 2.5, and it's our last lock of the week.
Oh, yeah. Lock it in. Get that money.
All right. And as I mentioned earlier in the beginning spiel, there is potentially a Tuesday night game between Dallas and Baltimore. Just COVID circumstances pending. Currently, no books carrying any lines for this, so not a whole lot to discuss there. So with that, that'll wrap up our Week 13 matchups for everything we know. And as always, I will now pass it on over to you guys to carry us to the promised land. The units must go on.
All right, well, we potentially have 13 locks again this week, beginning with the Titans minus 5.5, Titans and Browns to go under 54.5, Lions plus 3, Colts minus 3, Jags conditionally plus 10, Raiders conditionally minus 7, Falcons and Saints under 46, Seahawks minus 10, Packers minus 9, Chiefs minus 13.5, Chiefs minus 7.5 time, Washington plus 10, and the Bills circling the wagons at minus 2.5. And I know we have some parlays from Nate, one of which did hit last week. And looking forward to hearing this week's.
Oh, that's right, baby. It is time for Nate Parlay tier betting strategy time. And as you just stated, we did have the get out of jail free parlay hit last week. So if you hit on that, congratulations. This week we are going to do a 4-tier system, starting with the Miami halftime full time. That's minus 230. Titans money line, Indy money line, Jacksonville buying points to plus 17.5. That's only minus 260. The Las Vegas Raiders money line, New Orleans Atlanta under 54.5, buying some points. That is minus 340. Seattle minus 10 against the Giants. Green Bay halftime full time minus 180. KC halftime full time minus 280. And the Bills buying points to plus 4.5, which is only minus 250. That's a 10-leg parlay, which gives you plus 39.52 on the odds, which means a $100 bet would win you $3,952. And then we're going to take a little step down here. We're going to substitute the Miami halftime full-time, Seattle minus 10, and the Green Bay halftime full-time, all for the money lines. So you're going to have the Miami money line, Seattle money line, and Green Bay money line substituted for the parlay I just rolled out for you. And that'll bring the odds down to plus 1520, still 10 legs. And then we're going to go a little bit further here. Subtract the Jacksonville plus 17.5 and subtract the New Orleans Atlanta under in case there is a unlikely explosion there. which brings it down to an 8-leg parlay of plus 804, which means a $100 bet will win you $804. And we're going to take one step further here and take out the KC halftime full-time for just the KC money line. Still giving you an 8-leg parlay of plus 636, which means a $100 bet will win you $636. That is this week's Get Out of Jail Free parlay, which hit last week, which normally hits most weeks. So that's why we expanded the parlay section to give you the full Nate tier parlay betting style breakdown. So let's get that money, everybody. Hope that helps.
As always, thank you for sharing, buddy. Before we go, do you have any college picks that you like this week?
You know what, Boof? With all the COVID issues that have been going on, there's nothing as of yet that I like. But if I do happen to like something, we can definitely share it on the Twitter.
All right, well, that sounds good enough to me, man. Thank you again. All right, guys, well, that's our show. I'm pretty excited about this week, as always. Best of luck to everybody, and let's get that money.
Oh, yeah. Get that money.